We begin with another police killing caught on video in San Antonio, Texas, where two deputies were responding to a domestic abuse call. We want to show you the video first. It's this warning. It is graphic. The suspect, Gilbert Flores, can be seen with at least one hand up in the air just before the shots are fired. The 41-year-old then drops to the ground. The two deputies involved say Flores was resisting arrest. We get more from Robert Ray.
Chilling frames of video of a deadly encounter with police in San Antonio, Texas. Two deputies with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office responded to a domestic disturbance call Friday. Authorities say they found an injured woman and child and 41-year-old Gilbert Flores, seen here, running through the yard. According to the Sheriff's Department, Flores was armed, though they did not say what type of weapon he was carrying.
Two deputies attempted to arrest the individual and he resisted. They also tried to use non-lethal weapons to try and detain him. And after a lengthy confrontation, both deputies fired shots, causing the man's death.
He put his hands in there, they just shot him twice.
Michael Thomas was in a car about 100 yards away with his cell phone.
I was like, just things that's been going on in the world, like different type of shooting with cops and different things like that. So I was like, well, maybe I can catch some on my camera.
Local television station KSAT obtained the video from Thomas and Monday posted it all online, including the moment Flores appears to put both his hands up, though his left side is mostly obscured. Flores then slumps to the ground.
Certainly what's in the video is a cause for concern. But it's important to let the investigation go through its course.
Following the release of the tape, Sheriff Susan Pamerlew called for calm and patience.
Both deputies involved in the shooting have been with the sheriff's office for more than 10 years, and they've both been placed on administrative leave, which is standard procedure.
This is a very unique situation.
District Attorney Nico LaHood calls the images troubling.
There's actually another video with a better angle and a better view that is very clear.
But so far, that hasn't been released, and LaHood says his office won't rush to judgment. Robert Ray, Al-Jazeera.
Vincent Hill is a private investigator and a former officer with the Nashville Police Department. He is in Atlanta tonight. Vincent, welcome. Let me ask you, what do you think of the tape you've seen?
Well, it's very disturbing, John, from what I saw, but one thing that's very important to put out first is that we're only looking at about 4.5 minutes of what police say took over a 20-minute or longer time frame. So, you know, we don't see what happened before the shooting. We only see what happened during the shooting and after the shooting. But, you know, one thing I can say is from what I saw, it did appear that Mr. Flores did have his hands up, which is basically a surrender position. So it is troubling that he was shot the way he was.
Troubling, and I guess that when people have been following this story for the last year, like we both have, they see a shooting like this, they say, "Here we go again." And what would you say to them?
I mean, you can't have an argument to that at this point. I mean, here we go. I mean, you know, I think back to Walter Scott down in Charleston that was running away from the officer that was shot in the back, that was captured on cell phone video. You have this video of Mr. Flores being shot, so it's kind of hard not to say, here we go again. You know, again, I don't want to rush to judgment on what the officers did, but, you know, from my perspective, from what I saw, I didn't see a need for use of deadly force.
All we know is that the officers were called out on a domestic violence call. How does that change the way police act when they arrive on the scene, or does it?
Well, domestic violence calls are probably the second most dangerous calls a police officer can go on, next to traffic stops, because you're dealing with people that are already combative, whether it's one subject, two subjects, three subjects, whatever. So you're already dealing with someone that's combative. So the officer got a call that there were injured parties inside the home, so their level of awareness is going to be tweaked a lot higher than a normal call.
So now we have video of many shootings that police are involved in. Almost weekly we've been getting video like this. How does it change the way police officers act, and how does it change the dynamic in police departments across the country?
Well, I don't think videos are going to change the way police officers act. Now, I will say there are 1.5% of officers that are doing things they shouldn't do, whether it's illegal or unethical, and those officers should definitely be accountable for it. But you still have 98.5% of officers that are actually following policy, regardless of what the public sees it as, whether they see it as excessive force or whatever, they're following policy. So I don't think officers are too concerned with video when they know they're acting within policy, because they have to go home at the end of the night, they have to protect and serve.
Vincent Hill, it's good to see you. Thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you, John. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.